Hey Frank, can you just speak about the power dynamic between the Lakers and the Warriors? The Warriors had that 5 year run making the finals. They seem to be the toast of the league, and the Lakers kind of had a downturn, and now you guys are coming off the championship and have the best record in the league.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how this league works, right? There's times where a team is clearly on top of the league, like Golden State was for those 5 years. But those dynasties don't always last forever, and at some point, whether it's injuries or trades or free agent like KD leaving or somebody like that, the balance of power shifts. And last year we felt like the West was wide open because of the injuries and KD leaving, and really the whole league was wide open because of all that, and we were able to capitalize on that and win the championship. And obviously we've retooled and come back with a strong team again. But it's just part of what this league is about. There's always a balance of power shift at certain points.
Okay, we're gonna go with Kyle Goon next, please.
Hey Frank, you talked about how you like a certain element of randomness in the offense, and based on the stats that we have available to us, it looks like you guys don't lean too heavily in any one sort of frequency of play type. How much of that is sort of coaches consciously being like, hey, we've done a lot of pick and roll, we need to do isolation or whatever, and how much of it is just, do you trust guys like LeBron to just go up a field to kind of mix it up?
Well, I've always empowered my point guards to call the action, so to speak. Going all the way back to when I was coaching in Indiana, I just think it's it just empowers your player leadership in that regard. And I'll have the ability to get our guys in certain actions when I see fit. And but the main thing is to play with pace. Play with offensive pace. And if you're playing with pace and you're racing the ball up the floor and you're in attack mode, you're going to find the ball's going to find certain actions randomly. And that's something that we encourage with our system here.
Jordan Richard.
Hey, Coach. You guys have an elite coaching staff, with you, Phil Andy, Jason Kidd, Mike P. Can you just talk about the job you guys have done, with very limited practices, this season?
Well, thank you. And my coaching staff really does do a great job. They first of all they show up with an impressive resume. When you mentioned the guys you talked about with Lionel Hollins, Jay Kidd, with the head coaching experience and obviously the playing experience as well. Lionel back in the day and Jay Kidd more recently, being a Hall of Fame player. Phil Handy's body of work with his days in Cleveland, here with the Lakers, Toronto. He's worked with some of the best players in the league, and brings a lot to the table. And obviously Mike P's got a great reputation around the league. For being a shooting coach, but really being a basketball coach. And I think that's what he's brought to the table here, is not just bringing that shooting dynamic, but really looking at both sides of the ball, the prep work. Miles Simon and Q Crawford also with less experience, but do a great job with the prep work, with the individual work that we do with our guys pre-post practice. All these guys are contributing and continuing to move the needle without a lot of formal practice time. I do divvy up my film sessions, so that all of their voices are heard, and I want to take advantage of their experience. And those guys, my assistant coaches, have done a great job both last year and this year.
Last question, Eric Williams.
Hey, Coach. How has the way that Dennis can pressure up front set the table for the rest of your defense, and how does that spill over to other guys on the floor when he's playing like that?
Yeah, well, that's it's sort of an identity piece with us, right? We started with Avery last year, having somebody that's going to pick up full court. Alex would do it at times, KCP, and it's something that Dennis does well, and it does it instinctually, and we've encouraged with him with this year's team. But when your defensive point guard is picking up full court, it sets the tone for the whole group. You know, first of all, it slows the other team's offense down. You know, in terms of not getting early initiations, but just the energy of it. You know, lets the four guys behind him. You know that we're fighting on that possession, and.
AD, do you feel like in the year and a half or so you played for the Lakers that you have become, obviously the defending champs, but have you taken over the Warriors' perch as the team with the target on its back, the kind of the standard of the league these days?
I think when you're a defending champs, you kind of hold that, you know, standard for the league. I don't say we took over. The Warriors won 3 out of 4 or something like that. So we don't, you know, we haven't accomplished that yet. But I think whoever the defending champions are kind of hold that standard that, you know, each team wants to become. And, you know, we have that target on our back this year of, you know, teams trying to match up to beat the Lakers. And, you know, it comes with the territory when you're holding the title. So, you know, we've been doing a great job of continuing to do and what we do and get better at what we do to hold that title and try to keep it here in LA for this season. But you know, every night you're going to get, you know, the other team's best shot, and you know, we've seen that a lot this year with our team.
Kyle.
Congratulations to your football team.
No, thank you, Kyle, man. Appreciate that.
First off, before you knew Kobe, was there something, either a move or maybe an element of his style that you emulated as like a teenager or something like that? And sort of as a follow-up, why do you think Kobe sort of inspired imitators and just had this generation of people who wanted to be like him?
Believe it or not, when I was younger, it was more the LeBron era, so I was always watching him. But I did, you know, watch Kobe and his back. I mean, you know, being from Chicago, MJ, and then, you know, watching Kobe, you know, kind of emulate his game and the back to the basket turnarounds and stuff. Always kind of, you know, stood out to me. Just how much space you create, you know, with just a small turn on your shoulders and your hips. So I kind of just always watch that aspect. But I just think, you know, I mean, we hear it now with his Mamba mentality. I think that just kind of resonates with everyone, you know, in their personal lives as well, you know, not just in sports. And, you know, the way he, you know, was on the floor, just a fierce competitor, the way he was off the floor, such a loving guy. I think it's hard for people not to love Kobe and not see the inspiration that he tried to give to the world. You know, especially, you know, with his daughters, the way he, you know, supported them and did so much with them. I think it's just it just sets a standard, you know, for, you know, what everyone try to become, you know, as a parent, and for us men, you know, as a man, as a father, as a husband, you know, all those things that he was, you try to, you know, look how great he was at those things and try to, you know, do the same thing with your personal life.
Bill.
AD, kind of going back to the Warriors question, I'm just wondering, you and LeBron both signed your extensions to be here long term. You know, have you guys, I mean, do you think about what that could be and what that could be by the time, you know, you guys are to the end of those contracts, and what kind of, I mean, dynasty obviously is everyone's goal, but I mean, what you guys could do in the 3 more years?
We take it year by year. You know, once you start looking too far into the future, you start getting blinded by what's in front of you. And, you know, we talk about this year, how good of a team we have, and trying to repeat. You know, that's our only thing this year. And then next year, we worry about next year and the following year. And then I think he'll be done with his contract. So we just try to take it year by year and try to figure out what we can do to make sure we win a championship this year. And then after those years, we look back and on it and can laugh and smile and joke about what we have accomplished.
Melissa Rowland.
AD, how much do you think LeBron's outspokenness on social justice and politics has inspired and encouraged other guys around the league to do so as well?
I think he's the face of the league, and so when he says something, everyone listens, and I think it gives confidence to other younger players or other players who are not as outspoken to do the same thing, and is you have a lot more confidence to say what you want to say when you have a league who has your back, and anybody who has your back in general. When you got a guy who backs the players in this league and wants the best for everyone and supports everyone, I think that you can speak out. And when guys see that, Bron speaks out or, Bron says something about any subject matter, then they feel comfortable to do the same thing.
Is it Tip or Took?
Tiffany, sorry.
Okay.
Speaking of that, with what's happened in the past year, what does it mean to you to be able to play on MLK Day tomorrow?
It's an honor. I think in my career, I think I probably played 4 or 5 times on MLK Day, and it's always an honor. Usually, being in New Orleans, it was in Memphis, which was a whole different honor. But I think just playing on MLK Day is an honor for me, it's an honor for our organization, for our team. Like you said, especially when, everything that's going on around the world over the past year and then leading to this year, I wouldn't be surprised to hear a lot of guys speaking out tomorrow about everything that's going on. There's a lot of talk about starting the season, tomorrow, just make it more powerful. But, for everything that MLK did for us, did for this world, anytime you get a chance to play on MLK Day and represent, what he wanted all along, you couldn't be more happier to do so. At least I'll definitely be happy to play.
Sorry about that. Last question, Kari.
What's happening, AD?
What's up, man?
You said you looked up to, you kind of like looked up to LeBron, and watched him growing up, So what does that mean to kind of like to play with him to this day? I know, like, you said it to the fact that you in the NBA, you're a superstar yourself, but what does that mean to play with somebody that you kind of, watched growing up?
Yeah, it's crazy you say that because when we were in the bubble, he was getting like accomplishment after accomplishment, breaking record after record, and me, him, and some of our guys that was with us was making a joke about how next he's gonna break the record for most shoes he's tied, and it was just crazy thing that he's breaking records for. So, and I was on a bus one day on the way to the game, and I can't remember what game it was. It was in the playoffs though, and I was on Instagram and I saw a post about LeBron, and it was basically saying that he was top 3 in like almost every statistical category, and I sent that to him, and I sent him like this long, I gotta see if I can find it, this long paragraph on about it, and they were just saying like, I remember when I was a kid going to driving on a Greyhound bus by myself, 15, 16 years old, going from Chicago to Akron for your camp, and seeing you for the first time, and you're such an inspiration to all of us you might not know, and it's just crazy how everything comes full circle to now we're on the same team battling for a championship. And it was a lot more like in depth about it, but you kind of just hit these moments where you realize like the guy I looked up to and had all his shoes and wanted to be like, and now we're teammates, you know, and one of my closest friends. So it all just comes full circle, and I'm pretty sure he was the same way, you know, with a guy like Kobe, and even, you know, not getting a chance to play against MJ, but he probably did when MJ was with the Warriors, I'm not sure, but you know, it was kind of like that same feeling for me, and I kind of just told him that, and it felt kind of awkward just walking to the locker room, like sending a heartfelt message to him, and now we about to go play, and we right next to each other, so like, damn, what is he gonna say? Like, man, you soft, or like, we gonna see him before a game, so it was kind of weird, but he said nothing about it, and you know, after the game, he said something, you know, so it's a pretty cool moment to be able to play with one of the guys, play alongside one of the guys you look up to.